Good day, everybody. My name is Suzanne Gelderblom, and I am a psychologist at Stabilis Treatment Centre, a rehabilitation centre for substance use disorder. Today, I'd like to speak to you a little bit about how to live with a recovering addict. I'm sure that making the shift with seeing your family member as a new and recovering person is not easy, but it is essential to their recovery. A recovering addict is just that. They are in recovery. So they're learning how to heal. They're learning how to act and behave and make different choices in life. They may still, unfortunately, make mistakes, and they may still disappoint you and hurt you. And managing this requires a lot of work on both ends. Let's look at some of the things that would be important to look at in dealing or to consider in dealing with this new process or this challenging time that you're going through with your family member that maybe returns back from treatment and is in recovery. First one would be setting boundaries. It is very important to set specific ground rules. Setting those boundaries as part of your new relationship is healthy and very necessary. If there is no boundaries or no ground rules, the person may be unsure as to how to deal with certain things. So a simple example of this would be, for instance, and this may not necessarily be a rule, but more an agreement that you have with your spouse, is to say, if and when there is a situation where you might be a little bit late or where you're stuck in traffic, please let me know, because in the past it has been my experience that that those were used as excuses when you didn't necessarily sit in traffic, but when you chose to go and drink. So the trust relationship is not in place at this stage. So therefore, I would love for you to just keep me in the loop, to just let me know what's going on, because I'm going to sit and worry probably. So that would be an example of setting a boundary or communicating what you need in order for you to feel more secure in your relationship. Number two, being supportive. It is important to be of support and in support of your spouse in recovery and of their new lifestyle. If you plan on continuing living with this person, not being supportive may be destructive to their habits and the choices and prevent them from avoiding a relapse. It may even, unfortunately, cause a relapse. In saying this, I'm not saying that you would be to blame for the relapse. What I mean is that if the person, and I'm going to give you an example. So, for instance, let's use the same example as the previous one. Your spouse is stuck in traffic, and for some other reason they do not, or they have not been able to get to home on the agreed time that you had at the morning when he or she left for work. Then you, as the family member that is still not necessarily at a space where you trust this person or you trust the circumstances, you may then sit in the dark, not knowing what is happening, because for whatever reason the person has also not let you know what is happening. And then you may assume, based on your frame of reference, based on things that happened in the past, you may assume that, okay, well, he or she is probably late because they have gone on a drinking binge again, or they've ended up at a drinking partner or drinking mate, and I don't know when I can expect this person coming back home, or my spouse coming back home again. If and when that person then arrives home and you welcome them or you greet them at the front door in saying, so what is the excuse this time? Or did you enjoy your relapse? If that is going to be the way that you deal with this situation where you were unsure of what was going on, then that is not in support of their recovery. And this may leave that person feeling that, well, whatever I'm doing, and whether or not I'm maintaining sobriety, whether or not I'm trying to work at the trust relationship, it doesn't seem to work. You are still questioning most of my motives. You are still not believing that I am serious about my recovery, and that may leave them despondent, and then they may feel, but why am I putting in this effort to try and maintain sobriety? So therefore, it is very important to support them. Unfortunately, I don't have the time today to discuss how or what the support would be. I will probably in another video focus on that, but in the meantime you can go and read up on what type of support is there that you can give your spouse that is still in recovery. Number 3, support yourself. Very important. Supporting yourself is important. Why? Because that is the way that you maintain mental and emotional health. This might mean for you that you also need to seek help. You also need to go into therapy. You need to discuss and tell somebody that is objective about your experience, about what you went through, about the impact that your spouse's substance abuse had on you. The other way of finding support for yourself, specifically related to substance use, is to join a support group like Al-Anon. It's a well-known support group specifically for family members of substance dependence. Number 4, continue learning about this disease or this disorder. Knowledge empowers you to know what you are dealing with, and it helps you to understand your loved one and their recovery better. So if you understand the disease, if you understand, or if you can possibly, make sense of why are they behaving like this, or why are they reacting like this, and see it as part of the disease and part of their recovery, then it will also make it easier for you to not take certain things personally, and you might not necessarily react personally. You might not necessarily feel the need to defend yourself, but you would rather be able to react from a stance where you can be supportive and say, I understand why you're struggling with this. I understand why you're reacting this way, but it is still painful and it's still hurtful to me, and can we possibly look at other ways or means to deal with this? Okay. Number 4, family therapy is something which you can definitely consider. Family therapy is about going to therapy together and learning to rebuild your relationship in order to move on from trauma, pain, and distrust. The significance of family therapy is that all parties, everybody involved in this family works together towards an end goal, which is positive. They're working towards a better relationship. They're working towards a safer environment, specifically emotionally. They're working towards finding joy again and not constantly having to deal with crises. It is also very important that during your family therapy that you are able to deal with feelings of anger, of distrust, and possibly also trauma. So family therapy is the last resort that I would, or not the last resort, it's one of the last recommendations that I would make. in this regard, in dealing with your spouse that is in recovery. They may unfortunately feel that they have already been in rehab. They've dealt with therapy to a large extent, so they may not necessarily be open to doing the therapy, or going into family therapy. Um, when you pose the recommendation the very first time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you must um, just leave it there and decide, well, okay, fine, then that this is not going to happen. You can address it at a later stage again, because maybe at a later stage they may have also reflected on where the relationship is at, and they may at that stage possibly agree with you and say, okay, I think we might, as a family, benefit from going into therapy together, because I realize there is certain issues that still needs to be addressed. I wish you lots of luck with this journey. Like I said, it's not necessarily an easy time that you are going through, and that you will be challenged, and like I said previously, there might also be times that you will have to understand that this person is in recovery, so they have not recovered yet, um, and that's at the other end also something that you will have to make peace with, that recovery doesn't necessarily have an end to it. It's an ongoing process. So we will never be able to say, well, this person is recovered, because remember, substance use is, or abuse is not necessarily, well, it is not a condition that we can cure. It's treatable. Okay, so time is of the essence, and you need to take the time, and you need to invest, and yeah, good luck with this process. I hope this helped you, and please look out for my next video that will focus a little bit more in detail on how to specifically support your loved one that is in recovery. Thank you.